All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the lecture guided notes and practice for mole mass calculations. Remember that when you're watching a video, you don't watch it like you watch a movie or a show on Netflix. You pause the video and you do the things as you go. All right? Because I go faster when we're doing notes in this way than I would in class because I'm not waiting for people to do things. You need to pause it and do the things before you move on. All right, so steps in doing mole mass calculations. So converting back and forth between moles and mass. First thing, read the problem carefully and underline or highlight the thing you're trying to calculate. So the thing, I'm going to use yellow for that. Highlight the thing that you're trying to calculate, the unknown or u. So for the first problem, the thing you're trying to calculate is this. What is the mass in grams? Okay, so that's going to be your unknown. That's going to be the unknown. Now remember, you should be pausing the video and doing this alongside me. The next thing you do is any relevant information in the problem, the knowns. Well, the relevant information is the fact that there are 3.5 moles of iron chloride. So that is the known. Then you have to remember that the molar mass of the compound is always going to be a known and must be calculated. All right? So this particular compound is iron chloride, or excuse me, iron 2 chloride. So the molar mass of iron 2 chloride, normally you would just do this on your calculator, but I'm going to show it because these are notes. You've got 55.845 grams per mole iron plus 2 times 35.453 grams per mole chlorine, and so that turns out to be 126.751 grams per mole. So that's going to be your first known. The molar mass of iron chloride is going to be 126.751 grams per mole. Every number has a unit every time. Write the unknown, including units, in the U part of the problem-solving scaffold. So the unknown, which we symbolize with a question mark, units is grams for mass of iron 2 chloride. Then we're going to write the knowns, including units, in the K part of the problem-solving scaffold. So the known number of moles of iron chloride, that funny looking N is a Greek letter, and that is the symbol for moles, the number of moles. The number of moles of iron 2 chloride is 3.5 moles, which I got from here. Use the grams moles graphic to determine where you start in the direction of problem solving. You're always going from known to unknown. Notice there's a direction to the arrows here. So if I'm going from moles to grams, I'm going to take the low road. And the low road says that I need to multiply by molar mass. So I'm going to do that in the following way. Now, this is non-negotiable, okay? The majority of the points are showing you're working, not the answer. So you start with the moles, 3.5 moles. Every number has a unit. Then you multiply by the molar mass, 126.751 grams per mole. Every number has a unit. Then we're going to cancel the things that cancel. Moles is on the top, moles is on the bottom. They cancel. I'm left with grams. Here, grams is what I want, so I'm good to go. All right, so I'm just going to check and see what that number is so we can do the rounding, and then I'm going to explain a little bit more about the canceling of units. So it was 443.6285. So what you get in your calculator is 443.6285. We need to round to 2 decimal places. So you're going to have to look at the third decimal place to see if that is greater than or equal to 5. It is, so we round up the second decimal place to a 3. So our final answer is reported as 443.63 grams of iron 2 chloride. All right, now your final answer should look like that. This working is 75% of the credit, okay? The answer is 25% of the credit. So if you do not show units for every number, for example, you are going to get roughly half of the credit for the problem, even if you get it exactly right. Okay, now a quick word about canceling of units. So you know from math that if you multiply ratios, like say we have 4 times 1 over 4. Well, you know that the 4's would cancel, right? Because there's 1 on top, 1 on the bottom, and it leaves you with 1. Well, you have a similar thing going on here. Here you have moles. You're multiplying it by grams over moles. The moles is a bit like the 4's. They cancel, and it leaves you with grams. You got grams here, and that's what you want, so you must be right. So if you're doing your problem solving correctly, it's kind of self-error checking. All right, so moving on. Same steps as before. Identify your unknowns in the problem. How many moles? So your unknown is how many moles. Iron 2 chloride. Known, 57.32 grams of iron chloride. So known and known. Mass is 57.32 grams iron chloride. Molar mass of iron chloride, just as it was before, 126.751 grams per mole. We're going from known to unknown, which means we're taking the top road, the high road. The high road has us dividing by molar mass. So when we do the calculation, we're going to start with grams, 57.32 grams. We're going to divide by drawing a line under it. We do not do this in chemistry, okay? In the same way that we do not do 3.5 times 126.751 that way. We do not do that, okay? Do it exactly the way that I show it. Divided by 126.751 grams per mole. The grams will cancel. That will leave you with moles. Moles is what I want, so we must be right. Going to look at my number. I got 0.4522, 0.4522. So I'm looking at my third decimal place. It is not 5 or greater, so 0 Let me choose the correct thing here. 0.45 moles of iron chloride. Now, when you start doing these, remember that you must use the answer checker in Canvas as you go. So, if you have done number 1, you should check number 1 before you move on to number 2. Okay, folks, that's how you do it. Good luck. And if you're trying to figure out which ones to practice on, in the ones that you should do first in the practice should be practice problems number 1, 2, and 4. All right. If you can only do 3 before you move on to the quiz, those are the 3 to do. 1, 2, and 4.